It's that time again for another not-so-normal gaming podcast, featuring your hosts, MrTechnoSqueek.
Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Nostalgic Dan 1.
Everything I feel is in this sword. Good.
Come on!
And Quick Freeze 4.
Don't worry. I'll handle the bad guys.
This is a podcast you want to listen to, but first, you gotta press start.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Press Start Podcast. This is episode 97, and guys, we are quickly approaching 100. That's super scary. But, as always, joined by two wonderful co-hosts. Cliva, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
That's great. And of course, our wonderful Derek, aka MrTechnoSqueek. How are you?
I'm doing great. Are we even allowed to call him Derek? It doesn't seem right.
Techno, just change your name for us. It'll be a lot easier.
Yeah, you have to legally change your name. Yeah.
Perfect. But today we're actually joined by a special guest. His name is Connor, and he's working on an upcoming game that's going to be released on a lot of platforms. And I know you guys are hoping to get a Kickstarter going so it can possibly come out on some other platforms as well. But I believe the game, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's pronounced Elysian Shadows. But you are the...
everybody kind of pronounce it differently.
Yeah, it's like, I wasn't sure. I was like, I don't know. But you're the composer and you handle a lot of the sound effects and sound design with the game. So I was kind of hoping you could talk to us about the game itself, kind of run down on what the game is, maybe some of the, because I always love to hear like inspiration for the kind of game, or even inspiration for like your work and what you do. But
yeah, well, like the cool thing, like I think what you guys are just game nerds like I am. The coolest thing about the game is that we're all gigantic game nerds, and what we care about most is just making a game that like our 14-year-old selves playing Dreamcast and SNES would just like fall in love with. So Elysian Shadows is a 2D RPG, but it's next gen RPG, 2D RPG. So we have like modern lighting, we have rigid body physics, we have literally 3D positional sound in the engine. It's like when you're playing the Pokemon in the Game Boy and it's got that 2D RPG, but we can spin the camera and have it be a 3D platformer, or we can pause the camera and do fixed camera stuff like in Resident Evil. So it's and we're gonna, like, if it's on Dreamcast, we're gonna have VMU mini games because we're releasing it on Dreamcast, and it's basically like 2D RPG but like a whole nother level. So it's gonna be pretty sweet.
That's awesome. I heard something with the Dreamcast thing, because I saw that, like, I was reading the descriptions and stuff like, Ouya, Android, and I saw Sega Dreamcast, and that caught my eyes right away. But I heard you guys are teaming up with Watermelon, which I think is awesome, because I love Pierre Solar, and, I have a reprint copy, so they did a really incredible job with Pierre Solar, so.
Yeah, and especially the engine developer Falco and our, gameplay designer kind of guy Tyler are huge Dreamcast fans, and the game originally started out a couple years ago between them as like a Dreamcast exclusive only thing, and so now that they're signed to Watermelon, which they're huge fans of, it's like a huge deal, especially for them. They're like so hyped about that. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's really awesome. So what would you say is, like, because you handle a lot of sound effects, I mean, just talking general, what would you say are just some of your favorite soundtracks that just inspired a lot of your work, or that you just saw?
Well, when I joined, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a fantasy game because it's a fantasy 2D RPG. But the team is super awesome, and they want everybody to have input. And I am like a survival horror addict, like to the point, almost to the point where you could say like it's a crippling addiction of just love for survival horror. And so like we're designing the caves right now, and there's a pretty big survival horror influence with like the style, like the lighting, like having a flashlight and just walking around in creepy shit. And then I'm designing an entire section of the game, which is going to be like super Silent Hill style. So it's not like a fantasy composer is walked in and is like, okay, I'm just going to make another fantasy soundtrack. I started off making rock music as a teenager, and then I started making dance music, and then I made survival horror kind of stuff. And so it's like this really awkward, weird genre dude making a fantasy soundtrack. And so even though I love like Donkey Kong Country and Shenmue and like all the classic Final Fantasy, all that stuff, it's going to be very different than just another generic RPG game. That's what I think is really cool about it.
That sounds really cool. But can you talk, like, because I know you guys are preparing to launch, like, a Kickstarter pretty soon, and I think that's around, like, August time, but maybe you guys could talk about that and, like, your goals with Kickstarter.
Yeah, so I actually don't know exactly what the goals are. Falco is more into that than I am. But we're launching the Kickstarter on August 1st, and I think the goal we're setting is about 150K, and we have signed up with the Ouya team so that if we get 150K, they will match our 150K. And I mean, I'm a big fan of the Ouya. We're all big fans of the Ouya, so that's awesome. And if anybody wants to go to ElysianShadows.com or just Google it, you'll find like a counter for how many days, how many hours kind of thing until our Kickstarter, and then you can go there.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. You got 34 days, 8 hours.
Don't say that. I'm gonna start sweating.
It's counting down.
It's counting down. I'm literally watching it count down. But
I can just feel the panic attack just mounting and mounting.
Oh, man. How long have you guys been working on this game? It seems like it's been in production for a while.
Yeah, so when Falco and Tyler started it, they're from Alabama, and I think it was like 4 years ago or something, maybe 5. I don't remember exactly. But what they did was they didn't know how to make a game at all. Like, they were just total beginners with programming and everything. And they decided to start filming the making of the game from absolute scratch. And so we have this series called Adventures in Game Development on YouTube. And they just started making the game. Like, they had no idea what they were doing, but they just started doing it and filming it. And then Patrick, the artist, joined, and then I joined, and then now we have Leandra, who's another artist, and Daniel, who is the web developer and also level designer, and Eddie, who's doing Ouya and Android. So we've been doing it for I've been doing it for a year now, but they've been doing it for about 4 years. But it's like completely from scratch, and they made their own engine, they made their own toolkit, like it's totally from scratch and awesome. So that's why it took so long.
is this something that's kind of like self-taught, or like did they go to school to make games or anything like that?
Well, like I'm doing my second year in computer science, or I just finished my second year in computer science. But I think Falco did they both did a computer engineering degree. So they as they were making the game, they're also doing a degree, but the degree wasn't specific to game development at all. So they're learning computer engineering, all this stuff, but then on the side they were learning like all the graphics programming and audio programming on the side. So it is more or less pretty much self-taught, yeah. And I'm a self-taught musician mostly, so I think most of us actually are just all self-taught, yeah.
Nice,
so.
that's pretty cool. So could you possibly tell us like a little more about like the story of the game? Is that something you know?
Yeah, it's like there's like a battle or a clash between technology and science, and then magic and religion. And so Julian, who's the main character, he's on more of the technology side, and it's a story about. Actually, I can't say that without spoiling it.
Well, don't spoil it.
Yeah. Well, that's the hardest part, is because if I just say the theme is X, I kind of spoil the game. Basically, it's I think the example that they always use is Mega Man Legends, how it has kind of that science technology. I haven't actually played that game, so I don't know. Sadly. But yeah, it's like there's a battle between religion and science, and you go through all these ruins and check out all these scientific artifacts, and you learn magic along the way, and there's a lot of like philosophical and moral questions that are asked in the game, and if I go beyond that, I will spoil things I probably shouldn't. I know that's totally vague and it's not very great, but sorry, but I don't.
No, don't spoil anything.
You gotta play the game. Everyone's gotta play the game.
Yeah, one of the things actually is I don't know if any of you guys followed when Silent Hill Downpour was coming out.
I didn't play that game. I want to though.
Okay, well when they I knew the ending of that game before they even released it. I kind of pieced it together, and they put out like the first 40 minutes gameplay video. And so when I bought that game and started playing it, I pretty much knew the entirety of the game before I'd even played it. So I'm putting, when we do these adventures in game development YouTube videos, I am kind of the guy who's like, okay, you can't say this detail, you can't give too much, because you remember when you go to Blockbuster or some game,
God,
and
it was all about advertisements and EGM or whatever, or gaming magazines, and that's how you got your info, or just going to Blockbuster and maybe renting a video game because it had cool art or something, or just look at the screenshots on the back. Totally.
Yeah, and it's like when I played Resident Evil 2 for the first time, it was just like, oh, you're a dude and there's zombies, and I had no idea what was going to happen in the game. So I want it to be kind of like everybody plays Elysian Shadows, and they're just like, holy shit. That's basically what I want. So I don't want to spoil too much then.
So, are you guys near, like, how far are you, like, in finishing the game? Like, are you, like, halfway done? Is it, like, near release, or you still got, like, a long ways to go?
Well, the biggest thing that everybody's been working on was, like, getting the engine done. Basically, like, all the tools are pretty much, like, we'll probably add some more features over time, obviously, but, like, the big chunks of it are done, and so now we just have to actually make the actual levels themselves and tweak everything. So the Kickstarter, we've shown, like, okay, the game's been in development for 4 years, and we've been paying for it out of our own pockets. We do this because we're passionate about it, not just because we want to make Call of Duty 49. So, like, yeah, so if people help us fund this Kickstarter, and so we can make the game, like, a game for gamers kind of thing, so that we can just focus totally on building the levels, on making sure the features are perfect, and all that stuff. So we're done the shittiest part of it, basically. Now we get to do the fun part.
And I see here you got it so for Windows, NX, Android, ISO, Ouya, in the Dreamcast. Were there any other systems that you guys want to put it on, but for some reason you're unable to? Like, why these systems and not anything else? Do you know why?
Well, because the Dreamcast and the Ouya, like the Ouya has all the libraries and stuff that they provide for you to make games with. And then the Dreamcast has such a huge homebrew community that you can...
Right.
Yeah, and that doesn't exist on, like, really, like, on, like, a Super Nintendo or something, right? But if the Kickstarter goals are met, we will probably end up doing, I think, like Wii U, Xbone, PS4, and I think 3DS.
Nice.
Maybe Vita. Like we want to just put it on everything. And one of the things that Tyler, I think, was talking about on the team chat was that if you could upload your save file onto the cloud, and like you're playing a Dreamcast and you have it hooked up to the internet, put your save file up on the cloud, and then you plug in your Xbox One, and you can load your file and play it on that console. So we want to just fucking have it on every console, and you can just rock out on everything, you know? Say we want to put on everything we possibly can. If you have a potato and we can, like, put an electrical signal into it, I don't know if you've ever seen those, like, hacks. You know, play Elysian Shadows on your toaster. That's what we want to do.
Oh, man. Bandai WonderSwan, make it happen. I'm really looking forward to it, though, because, like, I'm personally, like, a huge, like, RPG fan. I grew up with, like, old school RPGs, particularly the PlayStation 1 era and, like, the Dreamcast around there, but, like, I see this game, and it reminds me of, like, a mix of, like, a lot of older games I really loved, which is great.
And it's kind of like the music, as far as, like, the music goes, there's a lot of, like, the old 16-bit chiptune nostalgia kind of stuff, but then since it's 2014, I have big strings and choirs and stuff like that. But the game is kind of like what OC Remix is, right? Like it's this video game classic stuff, but we have all these modern things that can enhance what's already there. Yeah. That's kind of what it's like. So people who like, you know, like people like me, like when I play games now, I don't, like the E3, I was watching it and Nintendo was okay, but I was kind of watching it and I wasn't like excited for much, really. Yeah. Because I just kind of look at it and it's like, okay, you're putting all this processing power on graphics, but who's coming up with the next Doom? Who's making up the next, like, super sick idea? And so what we're doing is we're just going, like, we're not going to do all this crazy graphics stuff. We're just going to try and make a really good game.
Right.
And I think that's really lacking in games now.
Yeah, like I was super excited for, like, Mario Maker. It was like, that was my childhood dreams, was to make, like, Mario levels and stuff like that. Yeah. It's pretty sad, though. But yeah, I hear you. And even with a lot of modern gaming, it's great, but, like, I don't know, sometimes it just feels like so much money goes into this kind of stuff. And you see, like, some of the more, like, indie stuff, and it's like, what they're able to accomplish is, like, so fresh and energizing, and yet here's these big budget companies producing experiences which feel like carbon copies of other stuff. It's weird.
Yeah, well, I was listening to like, you know, John Carmack gives those like 3-hour-long talks at QuakeCon or whatever. Yeah. And he made a really good point. Like, if it's your $20 million going into the game, you don't want to make huge risks, right? And when you're making a game that has like these crazy 3D like stuff that takes like hundreds of years of man hours to make, and you at the end of it you go, oh well, this level sucks. You're basically saying, if you want to redo the level, you're basically saying, I have to take your $5 million and throw it down the toilet. But when you go back to assets like, you know, these like ours, it's like old school. The artists can make assets really fast because it's not hard to do as much, and it's not hard for me to do the music. So if we make a level and we're like, this sucks, we're gonna redo it. We're not just gonna throw it in the game. And I wish that like a lot of modern game companies would kind of actually back up a little bit and work on making creation cheaper so that, it's not like you're watering the game down with things because you can't throw that money away, right? I mean, that's just my take on it, at least.
Now, for the soundtrack of this game, is this something that will maybe be available for people who are like interested in maybe like purchasing it or downloading it? Maybe putting it on iTunes or something like that.
Oh yeah, well there'll definitely be a soundtrack release for sure.
Okay.
But,
is it like a Kickstarter bonus or something?
Probably, yeah. I think so. But like if you go to connorlinning.com, just to plug myself, like all of my solo albums and all the music I've done as a teenager is all there for free because I'm like the dude who's just like, I just love making stuff, so I just want you to download it and listen to it instead of worrying about getting $30 for it or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I will do whatever I can within reason to like, even like to get the stems out. So if people want to remix it, they can just take the stems and cut instruments in and out and do their own things with it. And then, like, I would even like to have a second disc that was like all piano versions of all the songs or
cool.
something like that. So there'll definitely be.
And how many songs are how many songs would you say you like are gonna be in the game? Like
that's kind of a loaded question because I have to. I have to explain the audio engine for a sec. Is that if you're in the forest and it's playing the loop, the main loop, but then an enemy sees you or you start attacking an enemy, what it does is it dynamically fades out of that loop and fades into the same loop but with like extra drums and maybe an extra guitar or an extra synthesizer to like heighten the tension. And if you're playing and then your HP, like we're not sure if I'm not sure if I'm going to do this exactly, but just for example, if your HP is less than 10% of your total HP, like in Paper Mario, all of a sudden the music will start kind of getting all droopy, like you're going to pass out. So every song that I put in the game has the potential of having 4 different versions of the same song. So and then like we've only done caves, the forest, the town, the main town, and the boss. I've only done about 7 songs so far, but those 7 songs can stretch out to be about 20 songs. And I'm probably going to end up having to do about 100 songs. Wow. Maybe. So this is going to be one of those things where you order the soundtrack and it's like a 10-disc set and it just clogs up your mailbox. I might have to cram that down into just a couple discs maybe.
And how long would like each loop be roughly? Is it like 10 seconds or longer?
It depends on like what the area or like how long you're going to be in the area. So if you're going to be in these caves for a long time, I don't want it just to be 40 seconds over and over again until you start like just losing your mind because you hear it so many times. It's good, so like for something like that, I'll have like the main part and then like a bridge and a verse and a chorus, and I'll kind of go in and out of different sections, and then that will loop, so that's like 3 minutes. But then like, if you're the inn, I don't think people are going to be in the inn for any longer than 5 minutes at a time, really. So if it's only like a minute or 40 seconds, then it's not like you're going crazy. So I'd probably slim it down to that. So it just depends on what's going on in the situation.
Now, is there like a lot of like, you're inspired by like a lot of video games? Is there any like, let's say like references of other games possibly in this one?
Yeah, and even not necessarily games. I don't know if I should, because if I say there's a cameo of kind of referring to this character, that kind of gives it away. So when you see it, it won't be as awesome. Nope. But and there's also like I was making the interior of one of Lauren's Forest's houses, and I have an solo album called Sub-Zero, and what I did was I took the album cover and I like I don't know, what's the opposite of stretching? I skewed it down to, I compressed it down to like a 200 by 32 by 32 tile, and then I put it up on the wall as a poster, so you walk up to the poster and it's like, oh, maybe the owner of this house likes really good music. Something like that. So there will be all kinds of references, and then I would imagine, since we're signed on Watermelon, that there's definitely going to be a Pure Solar tribute, because the other guys on the team are such a big fan of them.
Oh.
I can't imagine there wouldn't be something like that somewhere.
So obviously you were talking about how much you love survival horror. Are there any other particular genres that have maybe inspired the soundtrack for this game, or just like any inspiration taken from like older games that you played back in the day?
Oh yeah, well there's the most recent song I worked on was the Lauren Cave boss theme, And if you look it up on the Elysian Shadows Twitter and Facebook, it's like this gigantic golem rock monster with these like blue flames kind of coming out of it. And we put Julian in front of it just to show the scale of how gigantic this thing is. It just like overshadows Julian. And so there's like a little bit of Red Alert heavy metal kind of guitar in it, but then over top of that there's like the Legend of Zelda NES kind of boop, 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 boop stuff over top of that. And then what I did for the drums is I sampled from the start of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Metropolis Zone, I think.
Oh yes.
Yeah. that like those classic Sonic Genesis drums. So all the drums in the song are actually exactly those classic Genesis drums. And then I put like modern choirs, and then I found a flute patch, which this is in Lauren Forest. I found a flute patch that sounds a lot like the Golden Sun flutes, which I absolutely love. And so like that's in there. So it's like just all over but I make it like a survival horror fan, so it's dark and gritty and stuff. So there's just all kinds of influences. Donkey Kong Country is definitely one of my biggest influences.
It's such a good soundtrack. Man, I really loved the 16-bit. I don't know about you guys, but I really loved the 16-bit era, particularly with the Super Nintendo, because the Genesis had like a really particular sound, but then the Super Nintendo was just like the complete opposite. But it's so crazy.
The soundtracks back then were so good because they were so limited with the hardware of like what they're allowed to do. Whereas like now I can literally record or do anything because it's 2014 and I have a computer that has like 3 terabytes on it, right? Like It's ridiculous. But back then they had to be so inventive to get like a really original sound, and like when you have like these like barriers, you have to be really smart and creative to get out of them and make something that sounds really original. And that's why those Super Nintendo soundtracks sound so good. Like the Super Mario RPG soundtrack, like I listen to that now and I'm like, how could you even, people now couldn't even make that.
It's like one of my favorite soundtracks. I love Super Mario RPG. It's so good. It's so inventive too. Like it felt like it fit the bosses, or just the forest, man, the maze forest, the music in there. Oh my god, so good.
Yeah, and in like one of the things I want to do with if the Kickstarter is successful is I want to buy some of the gear that they used when they made PSX era soundtracks. So Yoko Shimomura, who did the Super Mario RPG soundtrack, also did the Parasite Eve 1 soundtrack, which is another game I love. And what I want to do is, instead of it being like music is mixed and mastered in 2014, it sounds absolutely perfect and amazing, blah, blah, I want to record my music and then run it through these old machines that they actually used. And so like the actual quality of like the mixing and mastering sounds like it came out of the Dreamcast. I want to do that and like just go for the full feels, You got to go all the way.
I already want this game.
I'm not even the best like PR seller guy. Like Falco is just amazing to listen to talk about it. But it really is like my entire goal in life with music or making games now is that I want to make something that hits somebody else the same way that like Silent Hill 2 hit me. That's like my only goal in life. So it really is like a game by gamers for gamers. It's not going to be like it's watered down for people who don't really play games. So there's QTEs everywhere and like all this stuff. It's going to be like it's going to be, hopefully it'll be like if Chrono Trigger came out, 20 years later or one of those games, right? Like that's what we're really trying to do.
So how many video game soundtracks do you own? Like, do you have a whole collection of games, soundtracks, I mean?
Well, on my external hard drive right here, I have about 70 gigs of game soundtracks.
Just a little bit.
That's kind of a lot, yeah.
But, like, I actually do own, I own the Clock Tower 3 actual discs soundtrack, a Silent Hill 1, a couple Resident Evil. Like, I do own quite a bit of discs of soundtrack music. But I'm definitely more of I keep it on the external hard drive because it's so much more efficient to listen to, right? And I got all of that legally, right?
Totally.
Yes.
Sure. I love collecting soundtracks. I love buying, I'm the type who will buy, limited editions, special editions of games just to get the soundtrack CD and stuff like that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm a sucker for that.
No.
Yeah, the painful thing for me is that I think, Silent Hill Shattered Memories came out, and one of the versions had the soundtrack with it, and I'd already just spent $50 getting it brand new, and it was like, man, I want to spend another $50 just to get the disc.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't. I hate when they reissue it and it's like, just give us another $50 so you can have the soundtrack.
Now, have you ever come across a situation where, like you said you had like 70 gigs of music on your hard drive. Did you ever come across like you're listening to a song and you're just thinking, man, this particular song would sound perfect in this game, and like, have you ever had that happen to you? Like, you don't want to steal other people's music, but you know, like.
Well, let's be completely honest. Sometimes you totally do want to steal other people's music.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so damn good. Actually, no, because like it is pixel art and it's like that old school feel, but with the lighting we have and the physics we have and the 3D positional audio, if you were to take, you know, like a Donkey Kong Country song and put it in the game, it wouldn't fit even if the music is really good because it's still stuck in the Super Nintendo hardware.
Oh, okay.
It's not like kind of advanced enough like to reflect like the crazy modern lighting that we have. So, you know, I would have to add stuff on top, like big modern choirs and strings, because you want it to be kind of like OC Remix. You want to have all that modern extra stuff that complements what you're seeing on the screen, right?
Do you have something like that though? Like, if you have a favorite song, are you able to maybe recreate that song and put it in your game, or is that something you just don't want to do?
I think due to copyright laws, I probably couldn't.
Right. Well, I'm just say
those didn't exist.
Yeah, say that you could do something. Like, is that something you would want to do? Take aquatic ambience or something.
Well, I would love to do something like that if it was like, you know, you found this key somewhere and it was really hard to get the key and there's this bonus room somewhere else, and if you really put the effort in to get that key and get to the bonus room and there's like a tribute, you know, like a tribute Super Mario RPG room, and you go in and I would have this Super Mario RPG remix kind of going on. Like, that would be really cool. But I would rather people play Elysian Shadows and think about Elysian Shadows instead of play Elysian Shadows and they go, oh, that's from Final Fantasy.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
I wish the Kickstarter was up so I can just pay my money.
Yeah.
Now for Dreamcast version.
Techno's a big Dreamcast guy.
Huge Dreamcast fan.
Yeah, well, Falco and Tyler are such big Dreamcast fans, and that, like, they've been talking, like, VMU mini games, and then I think there's, like, the fishing pole, so there'll be, like, a fishing mini game. And then, isn't there, like bongos or marambas or something?
Oh, maracas, yeah.
Maracas, yeah.
Yeah, maracas, like, those are gonna, like, they're gonna...
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, dude, like, totally. If you like Dreamcast, they are gonna make sure that you get the Dreamcast game you want.
You sold Techno.
Well, my best friend here that I'm visiting right now is a huge Dreamcast fan too, so it's kind of like I gotta live up to the standards so that he gets to play the Dreamcast game he wants too, right?
Hell fucking Dreamcast for life.
Yeah, see, he knows.
He's spoken, yeah. So, what were games that you played when you first, like, as a child, when you first got into gaming? Is it mostly stuff on the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis?
Yeah, I owned an NES, and then I owned a Super Nintendo, so like Yoshi's Island, Tetris Attack, Mario RPG, all the awesome Super Nintendo kind of games. But also, my dad was a huge PC gamer, so I don't know if you remember, like, Genome and Dominion, Quake 3, Doom.
Yeah, Doom I know.
Quake 3.
Dude, Quake 3 is the best first-person shooter ever made, I think.
I used to land that all the freaking time.
Yeah, that game. My dad's 54 and I'm like 22, and him and I play that game together still. It's awesome.
Really?
Yeah, that game is sick. The soundtrack is amazing for that game too. I also played a lot of Game Boy games too, like the original Game Boy. Those sick like chiptune songs. That's where it was at.
Yeah.
Like the Lavender Town theme is like
Oh my god, it's so creepy.
Oh my god, yes.
I was like a kid playing that. And like, it's so ironic too, because like Pokemon has like that happy, cheery route music where you're going, and then all of a sudden you hit Lavender Town, and it's like, what the hell is this?
I think that was the precursor to like my survival horror obsession. Is Lavender. I walk into Lavender Town and I'm like, this is where it's at. This is it. And then I played Resident Evil 2 for the first time when I was like 9, and I was like, all right, I'm sold. I'm good.
I guess I should say I'm actually playing Resident Evil 2 for the first time.
For the first time?
I know.
No.
I started with Resident Evil 4, like many people, and I fell in love with it. So I went back and I did buy the Resident Evil 1. It came with Zero from GameStop.
So like the remake version?
Yeah. And I played that. I really liked that, and now I have 2 and 3 on Dreamcast, as well as Code Veronica.
The Dreamcast
I played.
version is the best.
Yeah, I agree. I played Code Veronica after 4, and then I really liked Code Veronica, and then so right now I'm playing RE2 for the first time, and really liking it.
Did you have the thing like when I first got into heavy metal, I heard Metallica's Saint Anger album, and I absolutely loved it, and then I went back to the old stuff that everybody else really likes, and I didn't like it, which people are listening now are probably going to hate me forever. But did you have that, like when you played Resident Evil 4 for the first time and you went back to like Resident Evil 2 and it's so different and the controls are totally different? What do you think of that?
Actually, not really. You know, at first I was kind of, the controls, and then I just got used to them really fast. Like, I have no problems with the controls now. I don't know why everyone, hates them, because they're not that bad.
Yeah, they're not very bad.
I guess not on Dreamcast anyways. I never played the PS1 versions, but...
No, the controls are pretty much the same, so yeah.
Code Veronica, that's the game. Love that game.
Alfred Ashford is like the perfect creepo, dude.
So what games do you like now that are kind of like in your system?
To be perfectly honest, like what I was saying before about not liking necessarily the direction of modern games, is that most of the newish to me, I guess, games that I buy are all old games. Like I just went and bought Monster Rancher 2 for the PlayStation.
Nice.
I bought that I haven't played that game in 10 years, and so like I went and bought that, and I love it. And like I'm gonna play. I've never actually played to completion those Final Fantasy games on PlayStation that have like the fixed cameras and stuff. I'm gonna play all the old games. The games I play now are all old games.
Man, no, that's cool.
Yeah.
And
I have this gigantic Xbox 360 collection that just collects dust.
No, that Monster Rancher game is the shit, dude. I love that one.
Yeah. I originally wanted to name my cat when we got it Mochi.
Mochi, yeah. Oh my god, they had a cartoon too, and I used to watch the cartoon all the time.
I still have some of those on VHS, like the VHS pieces.
Remember that? VHS, remember that?
That's when you know you're old.
Dude, I got VHS. Are you kidding me?
Me too.
I'm looking at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles right over there on VHS.
Dude, I have that too on VHS.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I do too.
I love that VHS. Kidding me? Oh.
Back in my day, we couldn't skip. We had to rewind.
We had to rewind.
Yeah, and you get fined from Blockbuster if you forgot to rewind your
Yeah,
tape.
be kind and rewind, yeah. That always struck me as like they would charge you a fine. Like, really? Just, no.
Did anyone see they had stickers of Be Kind Rewind on DVDs?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I've seen
I'm
that.
like, what?
That has to be a joke. That has to be a joke. Although I want to believe somebody would actually put that on there, like, seriously.
You said we got questions, right? Maybe we can do those. That way Connor could jump in and maybe answer someone too.
Listener questions? Sure.
Yeah.
The time! Who's got the time?
It's question time! We have 2 listener questions, and see, the first one's from Nick Knack. He says, "Hey guys, how's it going? Have you guys ever bought any games off Craigslist or Penny Saver? If so, what were the games and what were your experiences like?" So, Connor, since you're our guest, why don't you go first with this one?
I actually have a really cool story about that. Last summer when I was at my friend Sean's place here, I wanted to buy a Dreamcast because I never actually owned a Dreamcast. And so I went on Craigslist in Vancouver, and some dude was selling a Dreamcast, and it came with House of the Dead 2. And being the survival horror dude, I was like, oh, fuck, you gotta let me get that. And so I went to this guy's house, and he's like this super rich dude, and it's like, I know you from somewhere. And there's this computer movie called Antitrust that was filmed at a university here in Vancouver. And my sister is a huge fan of the actor Tyler Labine, and it was him, and like I actually knew him, and I was a fan of him too. And so I have his Dreamcast, and a picture of me with the Dreamcast with him. So it was kind of a, usually you go on Craigslist and somebody wants to steal your liver or something, but I got to meet Tyler Labine.
Nice.
So it's pretty sweet.
Dan, how are you?
I really don't buy games off Craigslist. It's one of those weird things, like, you have to be... Because sometimes I find some of the listings, like, very, very vague. And it's like, sometimes I don't know what I'm getting, and sometimes I don't have pictures, so it's like I gotta take your word for it or something. But I did buy my PS Vita, because I wanted a Vita, and I got it for like $100, which I thought was super cheap, so... Because sometimes you can find really good deals, but for the most part, I usually get my stuff elsewhere. I'll go to a flea market and see what I can find randomly.
Let me see. I've never really bought anything off Craigslist. I do remember this one listing though. I was just casually searching Craigslist and I came across this listing of some PS1 games, and they were just like cheap stuff. But one of the games mentioned was it was either Warcraft or Warcraft 2 for the PlayStation 1, and I kind of thought this was maybe a rare game because I know there was Warcraft on the PlayStation 1. I just don't know how rare. But I emailed the guy saying, hey, I'm interested in this game. Could you possibly like meet up somewhere? Unfortunately, I never met the guy. I never really did. And he emailed me back saying, yeah, sure, I'll love to meet up anytime you like. I said, okay, great. How about, maybe like Tuesday, what's a best place to meet up? And he never emailed me back. So that's kind of like the end of my story. So I never got the game. I never really checked Craigslist anymore just because of that, kind of like that experience.
Well, now you know whenever those like Nigerian princes email you and you never email them back. Now you know how they feel, right?
Yeah, well. How about you, Techno?
Oh, well, I got two little stories, not really anything really good, but I did find a sit down outrun, and I messaged the dude. I was actually messaging his wife, and like he was not home or something. He was at work, and like I had it all set up, and then the day it came to go get it, no one was around to help me, get it. So I was like, damn it, because I love Outrun. But I did get the Mortal Kombat 2 arcade cab, and I had my stepfather go with me and pick it up, and I now have it in my room.
Yeah, I always see a lot of those arcade listings on Craigslist, and they're nice to look at, but I don't know if I would ever buy one.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot of work. Every time I think about it, it's like, that would be cool to have, but I dread trying to squeeze it through the door. If you have stairs, it's even brutal.
Well, I'm always looking for like those tabletop Pac-Man ones,
Yeah.
like something small. But like I said, it's fun to look, but I don't know if I'll ever get one. But we got one last question, and this one's from Nick, and this one he asks, what is your favorite retro and modern video game soundtrack?
Oh man.
I know, it's kind of hard.
Only pick one of each?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, I guess you can name more than one.
But then you have that thing where you pick one, and then like 2 days later you think of a better one, and you hate yourself.
Like, oh crap. I
Yeah.
didn't think about that.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna go with Mega Man for my retro. Any of them, I don't care. Probably 1 through 3. And then for modern, I want to say Persona 4 Golden Edition. For some reason, that just like pops in my mind. So yeah, those two. I'm gonna go with those two.
I think for me, retro, like if you consider Chrono Trigger retro, I'd go for that. And then modern, probably I'd have to pick Silent Hill 2 because Akira Yamaoka is my favorite musician of all time. So that game has got the feels, man.
How about you, Techno?
Oh, I guess retro. If I had to choose one, it's really hard, man. I guess Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Nice.
And then, because, that is my favorite game of all time. And modern?
Is it Echo the Dolphin?
No. I hate Echo the Dolphin. And no, not Echo the Dolphin on Dreamcast either.
It's a better game. Sega Bass Fishing?
I've actually never played that one.
The one on the Dreamcast? I played the one on the Dreamcast.
I know, you own it.
I rescued a turtle. It was good.
I'm gonna say Journey.
That's a good one.
Like for me, retro, I think is so much. Like Super Mario RPG, me and a buddy used to co-op, kind of play through it together. We'd switch off on certain segments to kind of get through the game, or when we got tired of like level grinding. Super Mario World's just like iconic. Donkey Kong Country, even Uniracers, which had like the tacky kind of like rock music, was so good. And then even PS1 stuff with like Lunar, the Silver Star Story has like incredible music. Even Parasite Eve's got like creepy atmospheric music.
Yeah.
I like creepy atmospheric music too.
I don't know if you guys ever did this, but like when you were playing GoldenEye 007 on N64, and you go to your watch, and it's got that sweet like rap beat, and then you just pause your thing and just let it play forever in the background.
For modern though, I'd say I really like the soundtrack for Lost Odyssey, since Lost Odyssey in general kind of feels like a modern RPG that would have came out on like the PlayStation 1. Like everything just screams classic about it. It's so good. Even Xenoblade Chronicles, really, really great music in there. Oh, and I agree, Clive. The Persona 3 has like this weird jazzy music that's playing when you're in battles and stuff like that. And then Persona 4 had the more kind of cheery, upbeat, like pop sounding music, and it was just Shoji Meguro. I love him. He does like all the composing for Shin Megami Tensei. It's just so good. Like even SMT4 on the 3DS has like really disturbing music, and just because the game's really disturbing, period, but it's just creepy music. It's so good.
Yeah, Persona 4 is usually in in my rotation to like listen to on a daily basis. But you guys remember the soundtrack to Chrono Cross?
Oh yeah,
the PlayStation 1. Kid, you know that is the only. I think I told the story before, but it's like the only soundtrack where I actually had to run into the other room, grab a tape recorder, and hold it up to the TV because there was no way when I was playing the game to like own the soundtrack. I think it was still like, I don't think like CD soundtracks, they were around, but not something I would normally buy on a regular basis. You know, but yeah, that's especially, I think the song was Magical Dreamers. It was kind of like the solo guitar song, and yeah, that particular song, yeah, I had to go get my tape recorder and hold it up to the TV. I must have wore out the tape playing that one song.
Did you ever look up like an extended version on YouTube, like hour-long loop?
Not an hour-long loop, but I did eventually buy the soundtrack, and now I own it again. Like Persona 4, Chrono Cross is in my rotation that I listen to frequently.
Oh my god, I totally forgot. Gotta give a big shout out to Falcom Sound Team. Oh my god. Ease music, some of the best RPG music out there, I kid you not. Like, there's something about the way they do it. They use like extensive amounts of guitars in their music. They use violin, which I love hearing violin in my music, particularly RPG music. But they're so good. Even like The Legend of Heroes or Dragon Slayer, like so good.
Resident Evil 2.
Which one?
Resident Evil 2. Like, when I got into the police station, like, my mouth was just like open. I was like, this music, it's so good. I really like piano. I never really cared about piano when I was younger, but when I got into like high school band and stuff, I, started liking other types of music.
I was really into the laboratory theme, that really like ambient, moody.
Yeah.
That's my kind of thing. I love that.
Pianos are really good though. The pianos can make really kind of like creepy themes.
Yeah.
Never really thought about it until you said it. Nier had a pretty good soundtrack too. You guys ever played Nier?
No, I've always meant to. It was one of those things like I've heard people talk about it, and it's like, it's kind of hidden gem kind of game, but I've never gotten around to it.
That game on 360?
Yeah, it was older, and it was like, it was kind of inspired by like Drakengard, and then Drakengard 3 came out, which is pretty much like Nier, but it's this absurd kind of RPG by Square Enix, which is like over the top, super violent and stuff like that, but it's got the fantasy kind of elements still going on.
Okay, so alright, well, Connor, you have to go pretty soon, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you just like let people know where they can, find your like your music, find everything about you, find everything about your game, your Kickstarter, for those who may be interested.
Okay, so personally, you can go to connorlinning.com. That is ConnorLinning. You can download all my solo albums there for free. You can look it up on YouTube, and you'll find all my stuff there as well. My guy, I know a buddy as Nicholas Kaufman, who runs the Facebook and the SoundCloud for me. You can look it up on there too and find him hosting pages for me. And for Elysian Shadows, ElysianShadows.com. I'm on Twitter too, but Elysian Shadows is on Twitter and Facebook. And I mean, you Google search those two things and everything comes up, like tons of stuff comes up, right? So pretty easy to find me. But thank you guys very much for having me. I had fun.
No, thanks for being on, man.
Yeah.
It was fun.
All right, have a good weekend, eh?
Yep, you
Take
too.
it easy.
All right, guys, it's time to get into some gaming news because Techno fucked up the intro.
Yeah. So pissed.
Alright, guys, what do you guys have for gaming news?
I'll go first since you bitches won't.
Hey, and it's not my fault you screwed up the news intro.
You made me.
I didn't make it nothing.
So, PS Plus, in July, getting some new games. Well, not really new games, but new games to PS Plus. So, here's what is going to be on PS4. Towerfall Ascension and Strider. I still haven't played the new Strider game.
What?
Yeah, I know, and I like Strider. He's a cool dude.
He makes all those sounds when he attacks for like all the time.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. But isn't that only in the arcade version?
Yeah, it's the best version.
Because whenever they ported it to Genesis, they like
that's annoying as hell.
Yeah, that's annoying. But for PS3 is going to be Dead Space 3 and a game called Vessel.
Oh, I have that game on Steam. I haven't played it yet.
Oh,
it's like a 2D puzzle platformer kind of game.
Alright, for the two Vita, I was going to say video.
It's a great console.
I know, the video. The two Vita games are Doki Doki Universe and a game I own, and I think Dan owns it as well. Muramasa Rebirth.
Yeah, so good.
I thought this was going to be your boob game.
Oh, that's coming out in September. I cannot wait.
Oh.
We're gonna do it up, right? Techno online boob battles for like 5 hours.
Oh God.
6 hours.
Total.
Marathon session. We got this.
And I don't know which one is cross-buy enabled, but there is. I'm guessing it's gonna be Dead Space. I could be wrong, but
I don't know.
Muramasa will only be available for free in North America. European PS Plusers, that's what they have here. I'm not making that shit up. Will instead receive Lego Batman 2 DC Superhero. And then go. Instead of Muramasa, Europe gets Lego Batman 2 DC Superheroes. That's my news. How about you, Dan?
Well, I have a new limited edition because, like I mentioned, I am a huge sucker for limited editions, and I love NIS America. NIS America, man, nowadays they make a limited edition for everything, basically. Every game that comes out from them, it'll have a limited edition. Like I pre-ordered Disgaea 4, A Promise Revisited or whatever for the PS Vita, and Danganronpa 2, which I am super excited because it's the sequel to probably one of my favorite PS Vita games, and one of the best games actually I played this year. And it just came out in like March, and this is a sequel, but that has a limited edition. But this was a game I'm excited for. It's called Fairy Fencer F, and it kind of reminds me of the gameplay reminds me of the original Hyperdimension Neptunia, because it's got like the original Hyperdimension Neptunia had this interesting like turn-based battle system, like a traditional turn-based RPG, but it was based on combos. So like you would use triangle, circle, X, square, but they would all do different attacks, and then you could like go into the menu and make your own custom combos, like square, circle, square, and like that's a specific combo. So I thought that was actually really cool, but they ditched that later on. But this seems to have that same kind of battle system, and the art style actually reminds me of Hyperdimension Neptunia. It's a PS3 RPG. It's coming out in September, but they announced the limited edition for it, and it costs $74.99, and it's probably going to sell out pretty fast. But this is everything it comes with. It comes with the hardcover art book, a soundtrack CD with music composed by Final Fantasy composer. Well, I did not know that. That's interesting. Final Fantasy composer Nobuo Uematsu. That's fucking huge. That's pretty cool. I don't think NS America has ever gotten someone that big to do composing, but it's going to have some good music. And the best part, it comes with a bonus, and that bonus is a +1 beanie of dedication, as they call it. That looks like a character from the game. It's like this cute little like fox-looking character. It's like a green beanie. It has like a blue puffball on the top of it with like little ears and little kawaii whiskers and stuff like that. It's a kawaii beanie, and I'm gonna wear the shit out of that. So I'm super excited, guys. First, it was the infamous Second Son. They heard me. They heard me say how much better limited editions would be if they started including beanies and more limited editions. Here you go. Hopefully, this catches on as a trend. You'll see,
start a revolution, man.
I started it, man. Call of Duty beanies, God of War beanies. It's just the tip of the iceberg. But I'm super excited for this game, actually, and I had no idea Nobuo Uematsu was doing the music for that. That's incredible. He's a Final Fantasy composer, so it's a really nice looking set, so I'll totally be buying that. But that's available on NS America's online web store. Like all their sets, it's probably going to sell out pretty fast, so I would jump on it within the next couple of weeks if you're interested in the game. But that is my news. So, Cliva.
Yes, I have two news stories, and this one's kind of music related. The classic Mega Man soundtracks are coming to iTunes. Capcom released a wide variety of Mega Man merchandise last year in celebration of the franchise's 25th anniversary. Well, Capcom is now teaming up with music distributor Something, and it's spelled S-U-M Thing, to bring the soundtracks to iTunes. The soundtracks for Mega Man 1 and 2 are currently available on iTunes right now, and the soundtracks for 3 and 4 are stated to be released on July 29th. Something hasn't announced plans to release music for Mega Man 5 through 10, but is likely only a matter of time until they do to be put on iTunes. In the standard iTunes form, each song will be available separately for a cost of 99 cents. Even the songs that are only audio samples that will last maybe like 4 to 6 seconds. The whole album will also be available for each soundtrack for $9.99. Considering each album includes the complete works version of each level theme, making the track list to be 40 to 60 songs. Buying the albums in full is ideal. If you guys want to buy these soundtracks, like I said, they're on iTunes, and I recommend, like I said, I recommend buying the full album, because paying 99 cents for a 4 to 6 second song, not worth it. So buy the full album. They're kick-ass soundtracks. And the last news story I have for you guys is Iron Galaxy Studios working on improvements for the Killer Instinct jailing system. You guys know what the jailing system is for this game?
Yep.
Okay. What is
Isn't
it?
it? I think it's like you rage quit. You like can't like play a certain like I can't really remember, but it was something about rage quitting.
Yep, you are exactly right. In the early days of Killer Instinct, net play was played by people who, on the verge of defeat, would leave their game by either turning off their consoles or just logging out or whatever. And to correct this, Double Helix Games instituted a jailing system which would put players who disconnect on a regular basis apart from the rest of the online community. This attempt to address players' concerns were admirable, but didn't end up working entirely as planned. After the jailing system was implemented, reports started to roll in that the gaming competitors were being jailed for things outside their control, such as opponents' disconnects or a regular desyncing, or your game just freezes. Corrections have been made shortly after, but it's still not working entirely as advertised on first released. Early this morning, I don't know when this story was posted, but early that morning, the folks over at Microsoft Studios quickly took a poll to gauge the community's opinions about the jailing system's current form. While Iron Galaxy Studios will be working on improvements for Season 2, the developers want to know if Killer Instinct's online community would rather see the system deactivated entirely or have a better version of the jailing system released. And if you guys want to take part in this the jailing system poll, you can find it on Sharukan.com. So I haven't played Killer Instinct, so I don't know personally if this is how the jailing system works or doesn't work, but I think the jailing system is a good thing. I really do, because I play fighting games a lot, and I've had people quit on me right when I'm about to win, and it pisses me off, and I will admit I've done it myself. So, well, if you have a bad day, you don't want to lose.
Tired of me kicking his ass all the time. I'm the best Street Fighter.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You and your Dan character.
You gotta represent.
Yeah, you gotta represent. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, so those are my 2 news stories. So cool Mega Man soundtracks and the jailing system. That's about it. And now we're going to get a very cool segment that we all know and love. We've only done it once before. We wanted to return it. It's our one cool thing. So Dan, what is your one cool thing?
Well, okay, guys. So it's pretty hot in Arizona, right? Like it's almost 7 o'clock right now. It's like probably still 100 degrees outside.
Oh my god, it's crazy.
And like it's brutal. It's brutal, and your air conditioning is running all the fucking time, and that's kind of expensive during the summer. But you gotta stay cool. You gotta stay cool with awesome drinks, right? So there's one particular drink. There's a couple drinks.
Oh no! Yes, I know what you're going to talk about. I had it. It's so fucking good.
Is this gonna be Mountain Dew?
No, it is not Mountain Dew.
What is this?
You could talk about Techno, because I don't think I'm talking about what you have in mind. What were you thinking, Techno?
Dr. Pepper, the new...
Oh, is there a new flavor of Dr. Pepper? I didn't know.
Taco Bell released Dr. Pepper releasing a flavor for July 4th. I think it's just going to run through, this month, or July, and it's called Vanilla Float. And Taco Bell did a freeze. You know how they do with Mountain Dew. They made a Vanilla Float freeze, and I had it, and it's delicious.
So that's already out? Pepper,
yeah, that's out right now.
I thought I saw somewhere that they actually have that in 12-pack form as well. It was like Dr. Pepper, but it said like...
Yeah, they have...
flavor.
They have cans and bottles, too.
Yeah, it's sweet. But yeah, that's awesome. But I also love Sonic, guys. Do you guys have Sonic in your area?
I do.
Oh,
yes.
Okay, good. That's awesome. But it's awesome because they have like what they call happy hour, right?
Yeah.
Happy hour is like dollar fountain drinks is so good, so I always get the cherry limeade. Oh man, so good on a hot day. It's so good. And I also love, I don't know if you guys have seen or even have it, it's a national brand I think, but it's like Arizona flavored tea. The brand's called Arizona and it's like tea.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They have like a shit ton of like different flavors, but like I love the Arnold Palmer tea. It's like half tea and half lemonade, and it's so fucking good. Like it's awesome because it tastes like tea when you're drinking it, but you get that aftertaste and it's got like that lemonade taste. And
I think Aaron likes that.
It's so good.
My cousin. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. And because I'm not a big fan of like traditional lemonade because it's kind of strong and like I don't really like the strong taste of traditional lemonade, but since this is balanced with the tea, it's like so drinkable and just totally hits the spot during a hot day. And of course I have my sodas that I drink, like Cherry Coke and Dr. Pepper, of course. That's always in my fridge. But man, Sonic's pretty cool, guys. I'm telling you, happy hour during the summer.
Yeah, I usually try to get there at happy hour and just like order a big Route 44 or something.
Yeah, they have so many options.
I know.
It's totally worth checking out. Perfect for the summer. That is my cool thing, Sonic happy hour.
I knew you guys would talk about drinks. I don't know why, but I knew.
All the drinks, drink all the things.
It's so fun. Oh man. But my one cool thing has nothing to do with drinks at all.
Oh, is it food then?
No food. This has to do with the supernatural. This year is the 30th anniversary of the film franchise Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And recently, to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Ghostbusters, LEGO has released a Ecto-1 version, or a LEGO version of the Ecto-1. And I gotta say, this thing is freaking fantastic. I picked this thing up. It's about $50. It has 508 pieces, and basically it's the Ecto-1. And what's so great about it, it comes with 4 minifigures of the 4 different Ghostbusters: Egon, Peter, Ray, and what's the other guy? Winston. And the other cool thing about this thing is that it's kind of customizable. You could customize it to be the Ecto-1 from the first Ghostbusters movie, or you could customize it to be the Ecto-1 from the second Ghostbusters movie. This thing's pretty badass. I don't know if this thing is going to be like kind of hard to find. I actually had to get it off the Lego.com, but I ordered 2 of them just in case if they do run out. But this thing is seriously fantastic, and the decals, such as like the Ghostbuster logo, they aren't stickers. They're actually decals like on each individual piece, which I really, really enjoy because I hate peeling those tiny, small-ass stickers. And yeah, it's simply fantastic. fantastic. The only thing I don't really like about the Ecto-1, and it's not really that major, is you could put Ghostbusters within the car, but you can only fit 2 Ghostbusters at a time. Maybe a third if you don't have them wearing the little Lego proton packs. But yeah, that's really the only thing I don't like about the set itself. But overall, I give it like, I don't know, like a 9 out of 10. I think it's freaking fantastic. And if you're huge into Legos, I think this thing is a must-have. I've recently just started getting into Legos myself. But if you're like a Ghostbusters fan, this is definitely a must-have because it's really, really freaking cool. As well as the Ghostbusters themselves, they each come with their own proton pack. They come with 2 small walkie-talkies, which isn't really all that special. It comes with a Lego ghost trap that you can build yourself, and each one of the proton packs comes with, the gun part of it. I don't know what the gun part is called. I'll just call it the gun. But it's cool. I recommend this set. If you guys like Legos and definitely Ghostbusters, pick this up. They also released other things such as like Back to the Future and stuff like that. So, but yeah, Ghostbusters for the win.
That's cool. Techno.
It is cool.
Techno, do you have anything cool? Oh man. Oh boy. He has nothing cool.
He has nothing.
Well, come on.
He's not a cool person.
Wasn't his cool thing the Dr. Pepper thing?
That is cool.
It is cool.
Because it even says it on the cup.
That cup is cool though.
But this kind of has to do with video games. I did back when Dreamcast was still kicking, and they released Sonic Adventure 2. Now, if you've played Sonic Adventure 2, their Sonic's and Shadows shoes are not like regular Sonic shoes, the red and white, but like they got new shoes because a shoe company actually was advertising in the game, and it was called Soap Shoes. Now, what the hell are soap shoes? They are shoes that, regular shoe, but in the middle, on the bottom, there is a grind plate on both shoes, and you grind, and I bought me a pair, and I used to freaking grind all over the freaking town. It was awesome. But now I guess they went bankrupt or some shit, not around anymore, and most people call it stupid to do that. Might as well just skateboard. So
I don't know, Techno, I would like to see you grind in those shoes.
I could just imagine a lot of kids falling over.
They just need to play Jet Set Radio, get some inspiration. Gotta believe in themselves.
Shit.
Come on, believe in the heart of the shoes. Do you still have these shoes?
Yes. I can't fit in them. No. Because they're like size 8.
So what's on the bottom of the shoe that makes it like able to grind, like a metal plate or something?
Yeah. Here, I'll show you a picture.
Oh, I have to think like this would be something illegal as well.
It's not.
I don't know, man. I could see kids grinding and like cops chasing after them, like stuff like that.
They're just shoes. Why are you chasing after them?
They're just shoes.
They just start walking like, oh, I'm just walking, leave me alone. Remember the shoes with the wheels in them?
Dude,
yeah, I remember.
Yeah, those are
Heelys. Yeah, they were pretty much like Heelys, but they didn't have the
wheels.
Yeah.
I could never understand those shoes.
Gotta get around like you're rollerblading.
Yeah, I got the concept. I just never saw the appeal of them.
Clearly, you didn't want to be the cool kid in town.
I
was always cool kid.
I'll tell you right now, I was not the cool kid.
Yeah, Techno's a cool kid. He keeps the stickers on his hats and all that.
Hey, on!
Dude, that's another thing I don't understand either. So.
Gotta keep that gold sticker, man. So fresh. That's pretty cool. But yeah, that's our cool stuff, guys. How about that?
So how about we get into the games we've been playing?
Oh man, that sounds like an idea.
Alright, Techno just sent a picture of these shoes. Let's check these things out. Soap shoes, size 12. These look like normal shoes.
Look in the middle.
I am looking in the middle.
So it's just have space in between?
Yeah.
Oh. These do not look like they would support somebody as they're grinding, 15 miles an hour down the rail.
You can look up videos on
YouTube.
YouTube.
Oh man, so extreme. Too extreme for me. Techno, have you been playing any video games recently?
Oh man.
Oh bro.
Let me just tell you,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna have to pay my bank.
Yeah, probably.
Pay your bank.
Yeah, Dan knows what's up.
Do I really?
The almighty Steam Summer Sale.
Oh, I'm good. I only spent like $5 so far. That's
You're
not bad.
you're not a true steamer.
Yeah, I get all my games from like humble bundles. I don't understand why people don't buy bundles. It's like, it may not look like I buy nothing on Steam, but I have like 250 plus games now, and it's all like bundles. And you donate to charity at the same time, so it's like a win-win. But I did buy a couple of games from the Steam Summer Sale.
What'd you buy?
I bought a really cheap like roguelike game called One Way Heroics. It was like 80 cents or something. One of those like impulse buys. It looked cute.
Yeah.
It's like a kind of strategy roguelike kind of game. The one I really fucking love, which I'll talk about when games I've been playing recently, is Risk of Rain, which is a sweet ass like 2D pixel style roguelike game. Oh, so fucking good. And I bought Shadowrun Returns because I've always wanted to play that.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. I bought Payday 2, the Far Cry franchise, because that was was selling for
It's a good
14.
deal.
Yeah, 14
That's how they trick you. It's like,
yeah.
buy the whole thing. It's such a good deal. But next thing you know, you bought like multiple packs of some different stuff.
Yeah, and you can't fucking use it because you already have them.
Yeah.
Enslaved, because it's like premium edition or some shit. I don't know.
It's this Odyssey to the West.
Yeah.
It's a great game.
Bought Max Payne 3 Complete Edition because I actually bought Max Payne 1 and 2 bundle recently, and
love Max Payne.
been playing some Max Payne 1 because I got memories with that game. That fucking game creeps me the fuck out.
There's those weird parts where it's like you're going through the black void.
The baby?
Yeah, oh
the
god.
Fucking baby? Fuck that.
Yeah. And Bullet Time, holy shit. One of the
Bullet
first
Time.
games I introduced Bullet Time, and I used to spam the shit out of it because I thought it was cool as hell. Even though I probably didn't need to use it, I'd use it.
And what else?
I'm giving Gabe all the money.
All the money.
He's just rolling in a bathtub with all your money right now.
I
Butt naked,
laughed
just
my ass off at that video. I have on my Facebook. It's Lord of the Rings, but with Gabe in it. And like, I can't remember the names of the characters, but the dude with the bow and arrow, you know, the badass, like he says something like, I hope Dark Souls 2 is on sale. I really want that shit. And I laughed my ass off because like everyone loves Dark Souls for some reason. I don't know why. So yeah. I'm trying to think what else I bought. Let's look here.
Bro, what team are you on? I'm on red team.
Oh, I'm on green.
They're doing this stupid like team thing now where it just auto puts you on a team. And it's like, I swear to God, I don't think it's actually based on like points. I think they just, because it seems like every team's won so far.
Yeah, like.
So I just think they're rotating it in and out. Because if it was based around points, you know there'd be like one team kicking ass all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But basically what they're doing is like if a team wins for the day, they'll choose like 30 people and they'll give them free copies of like 3 games on their wish list, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Bought Metro Last Light complete because I do have Metro 2033, which I still haven't played.
Me too. I have it on Steam.
That's one thing. That's one thing that is not good about Steam.
That's like all the Steam. It's like I bought these games, but I haven't played them yet, and I probably won't play them for like another year. Like, you know the Steam calculator stuff? That stuff is so depressing. Like, what I hate about it is it's so depressing because it shows you how many games you haven't played. It's like, for me, it was like 60% out of like 250 plus games I haven't played. I'm like, oh my god, I feel bad.
Yeah. I got the Wolf Among Us because I really wanted that, and I forget how much I paid for that. It was pretty cheap though, and Steam sale still going on though. Think that might be it.
So all in all, what's the damage report so far, roughly?
Oh god, I have to pay back like $50.
So it is the best time to get deals though. If you don't buy like bundles, it's one of the best times because some of the prices are super ridiculous, especially some of the like flash sales that they do, which are like temporary sales over like a couple hours. Those are usually some of the cheapest ones. And Steam sales are usually when you'll see games at like their absolute cheapest is because, you know, Steam games are always on sale, like, all the time, but
Yeah.
there's only, like, certain times, like, it might be, like, 25% off, 50% off, but then you get to, like, the Steam sale, and it's, like, all of a sudden it's, like, 80% off, 75% off, and that's, like, the only time to get it that cheap.
Oh shit! Payday 2's 80% off, $5.99. That game is really, really fun. Like I was like, should I get it? Should I not get it? And I was just like, fuck it. And then I really like it. What Payday 2 is for people who have never played it. Just think the start of Dark Knight games, except you actually get the money and not get shot by the Joker. So yeah, it's a bank robbing simulator. Yeah,
Cool.
that's it for me.
Okay, well, I'll go next, I suppose. Like always, I've been playing some Mario Kart. Not as much as I used to, but, yeah, I've just been playing a little here and there. Still trying to get the 3 stars in the 150cc cup. But, yeah, I haven't been playing it as much as I want to. Just, you know, for the same reasons I said before, I don't think the community's there. There was one night where we got a couple guys together during Jason Heine's drum session, so that was kind of fun.
Good.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the community just really isn't there for Mario Kart 8, which is a shame because it's an amazing game. It's better than Mario Kart 7, really. So, but the other game I've been playing, and this one came out yesterday, is Shovel Knight. I've been playing it on the 3DS.
Oh my god.
You guys get it?
No, I want it.
No, I don't have the money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got this yesterday on the 3DS, and I think it was $14.99, and I've been playing the hell out of it. I love this game. You know, it's very similar to games like Mega Man, Castlevania, Super Mario Bros. 3, and probably one other game that I'm not really thinking about right now. But Zelda. Take all 4 of those games, mush them together, and you basically have this game. I love it. It's a very fun game. The soundtrack of it is very chiptune Mega Man, you know, type of feel. The gameplay, the story wise, it's leaning more towards Legends of Zelda, where it's side-scrolling platformer, kind of like Zelda 2 for the NES. A lot of RPG elements where you basically you're a dude with a shovel, you're a knight with a shovel, and throughout the game you can find different rocks or secret passages that will reveal various gems and jewels, and you can use those to purchase, like, I guess they call them like meal tickets in the game, and you can exchange those for either more life or more magic. And throughout the game you'll come across different abilities as well, so it has maybe a little Metroid element in there as well, so that's it's kind of cool. I've already fought 3 different I guess each boss you fight in the game is called a knight, so I've already fought like the Plague Knight, I fought the King Knight, and I fought I think he was just called the Black Knight, which was like basically your doppelganger in the game. So, and each boss is very, very, you know, the Plague Knight had this cool scythe, he was throwing it around. The Black Knight, like I said, is a doppelganger, so he had a shovel as well, but he was shooting fireballs at you. So, yeah, I can't really say anything bad about this game. It's a good game. I haven't beaten the game yet, and the other thing this game has is feats. You know, they're kind of like in-game achievements in a way. Do they give you anything if you unlock them? I don't know yet, but I've only unlocked maybe like 2 of them. So, it's a good game. Definitely recommend it. I think a lot of people are gonna love this game, especially if you're into that old school 8-bit style of gaming. So I recommend it, and it's pretty much on everything. It's on 3DS, Wii U. I think it's on the PlayStation 3, Xbox One, Xbox 360. So I say check it out if you guys get a chance. So, and that's about it for me.
Well, I started up a new RPG, and wow, shocker, but it's a console RPG, and I actually haven't played an RPG like on an actual console, you know, with a traditional controller. I haven't played one since I beat Lunar the Silver Star back in like Christmas time around there, so it's been a while since I played RPG on like a console. I've been playing like handheld stuff. This is a game that's been on my backlog for a long time, you know, like it's a good time since there's not a whole bunch of like crazy releases or stuff going on. It's a good time to go through your backlog. I always feel bad leaving games for a while, but I bought this game super cheap a while back, and I'd say it's been on my backlog for at least 3 years, maybe 4 years even.
Wow.
But I started reading the names on the back, and you got Akira Toriyama, character designer. You got Sakaguchi, you got Nobuo Uematsu, and I'm just like reading his names. I'm like, why the hell have I not played this game? And that is Blue Dragon. Have you played Blue Dragon, Cliva?
I have it. It's also in my backlog.
Oh, really? Okay. Because
Yeah.
I thought about you because it's like a super traditional like turn-based RPG, but...
Yeah, honestly, I bought this game when, I think it was like maybe 2 years ago or something. Yeah, but it's been in my backlog forever. I bought it. It was like super cheap too.
Yeah.
It was like $5.
But I started that up, and I'd say it's actually a really long game. I've heard it's like
It's like 4 discs. I
Yeah,
think.
it's huge. I've heard it's like 60 to 70 hours long, but I would say I'm about like maybe eight hours in, around there. I haven't played too much. I want to get back to it. But what I played of it, I think it's interesting because this game, if I remember correctly, it's a really early Xbox 360 game. Like it came out really early, and it actually looks really, really good still. Like visually, holy shit! Like I've seen games that come out today that look uglier than this game. It's like, I don't know, they applied like these filters kind of to the aesthetic of it. Like it's a 3D game, right? But I don't know, there's something about how they did the aesthetics of it that it looks very, very pretty still. But it follows these like kind of teenage characters and this kind of headstrong boy who's, it starts off with this weird kind of like monster that's terrorizing the town, but it's one of those stories that actually doesn't develop right away. Like it's not like, oh, there's some huge evil that you have to destroy right away, but it's one of those where it kind of unfolds pieces at a time as you kind of go through it and it starts to develop. Because the story isn't really gripping me so far, I'd say that's like my only downfall with it right now, I feel like I've played a lot of it and it's still not like, there's still something about it that I'm not like totally gripped, but it's still enjoyable. It's probably bad for people who are like OCD and want to search everything, because the reason being is, I haven't played an RPG quite like this, but you can like search everything, like literally everything. Like if you see a box, you just press A next to it and your character will try and search for something, and sometimes you get like gold or items. You see like a random rock or something, you search it. Like you search everything, tree branches, and it's like, oh my god, I gotta search all the things. But that's kind of addicting because you get some good stuff sometimes. But the battle system is traditional turn-based, and you fight with like these kind of, they call them shadows. They're like your shadows because they give you more power and you can use magic and stuff like that. But it's traditional turn-based, but it's got some interesting elements in it. Like you see the enemies on the field and you can like press the right trigger. It'll create like this kind of circle thing. And if there's multiple enemies within the circle, you can choose to like fight all of them all at once. But what's pretty cool is if there's like monsters that kind of hate other monsters or monsters that don't like other monsters, you'll go into the battle and they'll actually start fighting each other instead of you. So like the monsters will try and prey on the weaker monsters and they'll just kill them for you, but you still gotta take care of like the stronger ones. So that's kind of interesting. The magic has like, when you cast magic spells, it has like a kind of gauge where there's like a red kind of spot, and they call that the sweet spot, where it costs less magic and it's more effective, but it's kind of like this timing based thing. So there's subtle little things like in the actual gameplay of it that help the battle system, but it's a very, very straightforward though. You got like a job class system, which reminds me of like old Final Fantasy games, and particularly like Bravely Default, where you shit ton of like job classes you can change from. So like right now I think I have like a assassin, a monk, so it's that kind of thing where you level up not only the character but the job class, and they give you different abilities and you can choose your abilities and stuff like that. But it's super cute though. It's got a great aesthetic. Akira Toriyama, I mean, the man's a genius, and he's got some like incredible character portraits and all that. It's just fantastic. But I'm hoping to get more into it because the story is just kind of breezing through right now. I have a feeling it's going to pick up eventually though. But if you like turn-based RPGs, there's not a whole lot to choose from, and this is by Miss Walker and some really high quality names in the RPG market, so I'm enjoying it. I just hope it kind of picks up. But I'm playing some more Demon Gaze as well, which is only first-person dungeon crawler RPG on the PS Vita right now, and I'm really enjoying that. I finally got to like the main kind of final area where there's like it's like a castle, this huge castle. It's separated onto like multiple floors, and there's like a boss on each floor, so that's going to take me a while to go through, and the game's gotten like significantly harder. And like I said, there's still really like perverted weird messages going on. It's so funny. But I played some more Mario Kart 8 as well. Not too much. I really haven't played a whole lot of it. I literally just played like when me and Cliva played during like Jason Hainu's stream, and I played a little bit today with like random people online. I don't know, I just wish the community was better, man. Like I want to play the game, but it's just like, I don't got anyone to play with. And I'll jump online, and like when I jump online, I'll be like, oh, it's 7, 8 o'clock my time, play some Mario Kart, and I forget that it's like later for everyone else, like no one else is online, so it's like, oh, great. But I finished New Super Mario Bros. U, which was the free game I picked when I got Mario Kart 8. I really like New Super Mario Bros. U, actually. I think it's really, really good. I think people give too much much hate to the new Super Mario Bros. Game. It's a Mario Bros. Game. It's 2D Mario, and this one's actually really good. And I haven't played the 3DS one, and I haven't played the Wii one. I played the original DS one, which I thought was fun, and this one's actually really good. It's got some like fun level design. The music sucks. Like I don't know what happened to the music, but like the music's just like kind of okay. Like nothing special, nothing like Super Mario Bros. 3 or like Super Mario World. It just hasn't gotten back, or like even Mario 64, just hasn't gotten back to like that caliber of great music from the Mario series. But still some really fun level design. It's actually surprisingly challenging. It actually gets pretty challenging in the last part of the game. There's some kind of trolly levels, like there's some kind of bullshit stuff that happens, but it is challenging. It packs that kind of old school challenge. It's just, I have a shit ton of lives, so I'm not really worried about it. But I enjoyed it. It does have like your secrets still, so there's like secret paths, secret levels to unlock. And I beat it, so I unlocked Star World, which Star World's pretty iconic from Mario World, where, you know, it's got like all the most challenging levels there, but you have to like collect all the star coins in like every world to unlock like one of the levels in Star World. But it does have like secret, I think they call them like secret flags, because it's like a traditional Mario game where to end the level you have to like jump to the flagpole, right? But they have like flagpoles that are like certain levels in each world have like a special flagpole where it's like hidden in one of the other ones, so you can finish a level in a different way and get that one, and it'll unlock like a new secret level. So there's secret stuff to find. The power-ups are cool. I like the acorn suit where you become a flying squirrel with the flying squirrel suit, and you can just kind of glide. So it's enjoyable. I actually really like this. So if you like 2D Mario games, this one's actually surprisingly really, really good. Really enjoyable. And one of the games I mentioned before I picked up off the Steam sale, and it's called Risk of Rain. And man, I really, really like this game. If you like roguelikes, you know, games where you die like all the time, it's all about just trying to get farther and farther and farther, you know, getting the good run going. It's got to be the run. You got to get like the awesome drops and stuff like that, or like it's all randomly generated. But Risk of Rain is really interesting. It's like 2D style, kind of 8-bit, 16-bit-ish, really beautiful pixel style. But the camera angle is actually like super, super zoomed out. Like your character is like super, super tiny on the screen. And the reason for that is this game just gets batshit ridiculous later on. Like I survived for like 40 minutes one time, which is actually like super fucking long. And there's like fucking enemies all over the screen. And the whole mechanic is you have like different classes you can choose from and kind of different skills, almost like a maybe Diablo kind of thing, where you have like skills you can use, but they have like cooldowns, as they call it, where like you use a skill and you can only use it, and then you have to wait like 4 seconds or 5 seconds or something. So you have like skills like that you can use. Like the character I'm playing right now is just like the standard guy, the commando. He's got a gun. He fights with guns, and he's got like some power shots, some charge shots, and a rolling mechanic, which the rolling mechanic is helpful because when you roll, you're invulnerable. You can't take any damage. But man, it's just a beautiful roguelike. It's got some incredible music. Like holy fuck, the music's incredible. But I love the aesthetic style of it, and it's just a really, really enjoyable kind of roguelike, old school roguelike kind of game for fans of, you know, your like Binding of Isaacs or Rogue Legacy or anything like that. It's very, very enjoyable. But that's it. That's all I've been playing.
Nice. That's about it, guys. You want to wrap this thing up?
Sure.
Sure. Uh-huh.
Alright, well that was episode 97 of the Press Start podcast, so everyone say goodnight, goodbye, and...
Yeah, and check out Elysian Shadows.
Yeah, definitely check out Elysian Shadows.
And all of Connor's stuff. We'd like to thank him again for joining us on this episode, and I'm actually looking forward to getting a physical copy of it for the Sega Dreamcast. I'm all about that.
That would be kind of cool, actually, yeah.
I'm totally gonna buy it. I love the homebrew stuff, you know, especially when I heard Watermelon, like they were teaming up with Watermelon. Like, I don't know if you guys have a copy of PSLR, but holy shit, like the quality is just beyond insane. They did an incredible job. But
yeah, I got the Dreamcast version back for it. Yeah,
the HD one, which is gonna be coming out, so that's pretty cool that more people can play it that way. But yeah, check out the game. It looks like a fun kind of like pixel style, action style RPG. It just reminds me of like a bunch of old classic games. It looks really good. So support it. The Kickstarter will be going live in like around August, like the beginning of August, I think, is when it goes live.
Yeah, August 1st.
Yeah, so check that out. ElysianShadows.com, I believe, is their website. But as always, thank you guys for listening. That was episode 97. We'll see you guys later. I want to say bye.
Later. Bye, guys.
Love you guys.